Welcome to Butterflies of Wisdom, everyone. And today is Sunday, but by the time you guys hear this, it will be Monday. And I have an interesting guest with me on today. Her name is Nina. She is a fashion designer slash banker during the day, but she wants to make her line of clothing full time. And for those of you that don't know, I'm actually going back to school in September, so in a couple of weeks there, to start my degree in fashion journalism. So I find it unique that Nina approached me and wanted to do an interview with me. So here we go. I'm going to let Nina introduce herself.
Hi, everyone. My name is Nina Monique Spain, and I am the owner of Nina Monique Voluptuous Boutique, which is a clothing line I designed for plus-size women. Myself being a plus-size woman, I wanted to create a line that is different from what everyone else has. Not only will you be wearing nice clothes, but it's also a brand where it's designed to empower women to be comfortable in their skin and to be vocal about life situations and to know that you are valuable, just as valuable as anyone else in this world. So that's pretty much the meaning behind Nina Monique Voluptuous Boutique.
Well, that's a very interesting meaning. And I know, as a woman who's skinny as well, I know that being a plus-size woman is difficult, disabled or not, because what I have learned over the years and what I have seen over the years in department stores is, let's throw in Macy's, for example. They only have a small section for plus-size women.
Right. And that's part of the reason why, another reason why I started my line, because my mom and I would go to some of these department stores and they would have a small selection of clothes for plus-size women, or they would have no clothes for plus-size women. And it was to the point where I was getting fed up with, feeling left out. So I started to design my own clothes, and from there, everything else just started falling into place. And I said, instead of naming it, I don't like a different name other than what I named it. I said I wanted to create a line that describes who I am. Nina is the girl that get up and go to work every day, and Monique is the one who likes to take pictures, and she likes to just come out of that work zone and step into the fun zone. So you'll be getting both sides of Nina and Monique, which I think a lot of women can relate to.
Yes. So in that name, you described your customer avatar completely.
Yes.
And so do you do, and I hate to sound like an idiot, but I'll place it this way, do you do work clothes, quote unquote, work clothes for plus size women too, or do you just do the fun end of it?
No, because I know, because I sit in corporate America during the day, it's very important, that you have your career side and you also have your fun side. Whether you're in corporate America or not, whenever you doing any type of business and you want to present yourself professionally, it's important that you have those career clothes. So that is the Nina side. So I do create that side, also the career side, and then I also have the fun side, which is more of like bright colors, a little bit, the dresses may be a little shorter, sleeveless, I don't like to be fully exposed, but plus size women, I personally believe we like to show a little bit of cleavage. So it'll be a little bit of skin showing and fun prints. So there are definitely two sides, and you'll be able to see that in the line.
Because plus size women, let's be honest, they're very self-conscious of the plus size. So
Right.
they like to show a little bit of skin, but not too much.
Mm-hmm. Right. Exactly. I think with, the images that we may see on TV at times, they really project one side of a woman that, all of us are supposed to look a certain way, and that's not the case. In my opinion, every woman is beautiful. We all have things that make us unique, and I personally feel we should embrace whatever it is that we feel make us unique, because you never know who you can inspire and who you're inspiring. So it's important that you have confidence in yourself, because we all bring something different to the world.
It's so funny you say that, because I wrote a book way back when, novel called The View from My Heels, and it was talking about disabilities and the modeling industry and what's portrayed in the modeling industry now is two such women. And it drives me crazy that the disabled are not portrayed in the modeling industry. Plus size women is a disability in itself, because you might have gained that weight, or it might have been brought on by a disability.
Yes. And I think it's so many parts to fashion. As I mentioned, for me, my brand, I want to make my brand up for more than just fashion. I want it to be a platform for women to, like I said, feel comfortable in their skin, because, as I also said, we always get just one view of what this world think a woman should look like, and that's not always the case. And I think it's important that women support each other and appreciate, other women, because what you may think may not happen to you, it could happen to you. And those people that you have around to help you get through certain situations, because they live that life. And that's what I learned through my brand, meetings, different wonderful people who may have a disability, or who may have a disease, or like me, who was bullied and teased as a young girl. So my brand is just more than fashion. I wanted to revolutionize fashion and force change where everyone could be looked at as a beautiful woman, because we are beautiful. So
yes, we are.
Yes. And it's important that we support each other. So that's more of, a bigger eye-opener for me, being a designer, that although I'm doing this for plus size, I'm meeting all different kinds of women, and I would like to expand into different things also. So this is a learning opportunity for me also, and I appreciate every journey, adventure that I receive from having my own clothing line.
I bet you do. And just to let you guys know, that book that I briefly mentioned, the YA young adult novel, is entitled The View from My Heels, High-Heeled Shoe. No, I will not be wearing high-heeled shoes anytime soon, but that book can be found on Amazon, and that book can also be found in Audible, and that book can also be found in paperback too, so go check that out if you want to know more of what I'm speaking of. And why I wrote that book is because the modeling industry is driving me nuts, and I'm slowly but surely making a series out of it too. And so, Nina, what has been your favorite entrepreneurial moment in all this?
Oh, man, my favorite moment. I would have to say, honestly, whenever I meet with my designer, or whenever I meet with my design team called the Martini Factory in New York City, and we sketch out clothes. And when they come back from the factory, we see how they look, just to sketch something out and then have it come back completed in a vision that you had. For me, that's, a gratifying moment for me, because it all started with a sketch, and here I am looking at samples. So that's a big gratifying moment for me. And also, as I mentioned, just meeting people or talking to people like yourself and other women who have challenges and obstacles that they went through in order to get to where they are now, and they're able to speak about it to help inspire other women.
Well, that's amazing moment. And I know you told me in our initial phone call on Friday that you don't have a degree in fashion. You don't have a degree in fashion designing. Please tell my audience who taught you how to sketch.
Well, my mom was a teacher, and she used to draw. She used to help her students draw, and she used to have drawings all up in my room when I was little. And when I told her I wanted a clothing line and I didn't know how to sketch, she showed me how to actually start. And from there, it just took off. So I also use stencils. And whenever I have a problem with something, she'll show me how to draw without the stencil so that it could be more realistic for the plus size woman. So my mom taught me how.
I think that's amazing that your mom got behind you, and she talks about supportive families and solo entrepreneurship. I am having the same experience right now. I have a big supportive team / a big supportive family, and I think that's amazing when you told me my mom taught me how to sketch. I don't have a degree in this, but I'm going to try it and see how I do.
Yeah, my mom always taught me, just because you may not initially know how to do something, you will always learn. So that was my first lesson. And then, as far as being an entrepreneur, my grandmother had her own business. She owned a nightclub within the city of Paterson, which I'm from. And I got into banking because my uncle is a computer network. He's into computer networking, and he used to set up computers for different banks in New York City. And he inspired me to want to work in New York and to, work in the bank. So all three of my family members inspired me to do most of the things that I'm doing now. So
I think that's awesome. And so what is your favorite book? It doesn't have to be a business book. It just has to be a book that you go back to time and time again.
My favorite book that I read, a lot of people get nervous when I say it, but I'll explain why. My favorite book is a book, an autobiography of Malcolm X. And the reason why I say that is because a lot of people didn't agree with the things that he was for, but what I took away from his life is that whatever it is that you want to do in this world, a lot of people may not agree with it, and they're gonna throw bricks and stones and try and knock you down to try and get you away from speaking up about issues that are important to you. And you can't allow people to do that, because then you're just going to sit in silence and take whatever abuse people are going to give to you. And for me, it resonated with me a lot because, like I mentioned, I was bullied and teased when I was in school. Also, I was in an abusive relationship. I had low self-esteem. I felt I had no voice. And when I got into banking, everyone knows that field is for, they call it the big boys world. And it is because it's male dominated. And if you just sit there and say nothing, you're going to get stepped on all over the place. So it's either you speak up or you just sit and take abuse from people. So that's why that's my favorite book, because he taught me how to speak up about things that are important to me and not to allow other people to abuse my kindness. And you could be kind to people, but if something don't feel right to you, you have the right to stand up and say, that's not right, and I'm not going to take this. And, you have the right to do that. So that's my favorite book.
We don't want to be squashed, do we? We want to stand up for rights and missing out. So what is your favorite podcast, if you have one?
I really haven't listened to any podcasts. Yours is actually the first one, so I look forward to listening to yours. I really haven't listened to any, because it's hard for me to wear headphones because I sit on a trading floor 5 days a week, so it's hard for me to have anything in my ears.
And for those of you who don't know what the trading floor is, the trading floor in New York is nuts. The trading floor in New York is crazy. Crazy.
Yes.
Coming out of, you see it on CNBC. I actually had a family member work the trading floor as well, and it's not an environment for podcasts.
Exactly. And when I leave work, during the day, when I leave work, I am like, oh my God, I just have to try and de-stress, and I have to try and, get my mind to being quiet. And it's emotionally draining at times, but it's also a learning experience, because everything I learned from banking, I was able to bring over to my business. So I'm thankful for it.
Yeah, of course you will. Of course you will. So, you want to make this a full-time job, and where do you see yourself in the next 6 months?
Next 6 months, I see myself within those 6 months officially launching my line. And I definitely see myself traveling and doing more interviews and creating my movement behind Nina Monique Voluptuous Boutique, getting women to stand up and support each other and speak up about issues that they feel are important to them, and just being able to create a bond between all kinds of women. I also see myself hopefully relocating to California. That's one of my big dreams. And let me see what else. That's pretty much it. And not having to really work for anyone anymore.
So be your own boss in the next 6 months.
Yes. As I mentioned to you earlier, I'm renovating my back room, where I'm turning that into my office and headquarters for Nina Monique Voluptuous Boutique. Yeah. So I can't wait to sit in that chair.
You can't wait to sit in that chair. No.
Yes.
No, before Nina got on the call, she's like, I'm tired of renovating my office. I'm tired of painting this office. And so now, I can't wait to sit in this chair. So just a little behind the scenes of it's all entrepreneur's life. Half of us have a day job, and those of us who have the luxury to quit the day job, we're very, very, very lucky. Nina and I are going to be extremely lucky. I know that. Yeah. And but for some of you, you don't have the luxury of quitting the day job.
No, a lot of people don't, and I'm definitely, trying to make that happen for myself, because we're trained to, have that American dream, a big house, picket fence, 3-4 cars, and it's like, realistically, that's what society wants, but what do you want? So all I want is my own office. move to California, get married, have kids, and run my business. That's success.
Exactly. That's
Mm-hmm.
right there. And if you had to be educated by anyone, who would it be and why? Inside or outside your field?
Be educated by anyone. Oh, man. You know, honestly, I guess I could say Oprah Winfrey because I think she's incredible. I mean, she could do, in my opinion, anything. And whenever I see her on TV, she's always doing something that I would love to do, which relates to helping people. And I would want her to explain to me, one, how do you maintain yourself when, you know, she see heartbreaking situations that go on with people? And how do you balance all the different things that she do on a daily basis? Because I know for me with my business, you know, it's slowly taking off the way I want, but sometimes it could get overwhelming between having a clothing line and a full-time job and commuting and trying to make events to help people, and it's a lot. So I would want her to educate me because I think she had the experience that, you know, the experience that I require in order to continue to grow as a business person and as a woman personally.
Isn't that interesting that you say that you would pick Oprah Winfrey out of anyone? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She did a phenomenal job for, 20 some odd years or maybe even longer than that. And she worked her way up. I know she worked her way up. There's a podcast called Making Oprah, and it's produced by WBC Chicago, and they give you behind the scenes of actually making Oprah. And so when Oprah went off there, she built a whole audience, and of course they were sad to see her leave, but I think Oprah's just a phenomenal person just to hang out with and just to ask questions of how and why and what.
Right. Mhm. Exactly.
Yeah.
I grew up watching her, and I watch her own station whenever I can, and I love to watch her master class that she has.
Yes.
I think that's very informative, and I take notes whenever I can. So I appreciate the things that she brings to TV because it's very informative, and it helps me along the way. So, because I go back and I try to remember the things that, you know, I saw on TV, and I try to apply that to my life and my business.
Well, where can people find you, and how can people get a hold of your clothing line without being stuck in Macy's looking for the plus size clothing department, which is very small, as I said at the top of the call, I know that. And so where can people find you, and how can people get in contact with you?
Well, I have my Instagram account. There's at Voluptuous Nina, and that's the Instagram account. You can follow me there. There's also my website, www.ninamoniquevb.com, V for voluptuous and B for boutique. So again, it's www.ninamoniquevb.com, and then there's the Facebook page, Nina Monique Voluptuous Boutique. And you could contact me there.
Everywhere, and then we'll have all of that information in the show notes. Trust me, you guys, we will. And just to let you guys know that, as you guys know, I'm becoming a freelance journalist / a full-time author. Yes, I'm quitting my teaching job slowly but surely here. And my book hit number 4 on Amazon last night and Saturday night.
Wonderful.
August 5th, and by the time we record this, and then I'm starting the New York Times bestseller campaign on August 7th, 9,000 copies need to be sold of both books, both hard copy books and soft copy and e-books. And yes, there's a hard copy version floating around out there. You just have to go find it or ask me, and then I'll give you the link. And so, yeah, I'm really excited about that. And my audiobook will be out in September. So before I let Nina go, I'm going to let Nina ask me a couple questions that she's curious about asking me.
Well, I think for me, it's not so much questions, it's comments. And my first comment to you is I think you're an amazing person. I think what you're doing is great. And I really admire women like you because you're not allowing society to dictate how far you should go with your life. You made a decision of what you wanted to do with your life, and you're making those things happen, and I applaud you for that. And anything that you need from me going forward, I will support you, and I definitely will put your book up on my social media sites. But if it's anything else you need, please reach out to me and let me know.
Well, thank you for saying that, because as Nina, you know, and as I know, we're cut from a different cloth, no pun intended, and so I think what society sees of us needs to be changed.
Right. I agree. And women like you are making that happen.
Oh, well, I try, Nina, but I so appreciate you guys listening in, and I hope you guys enjoy your week, and let's make the Mosaic of CT a New York Times bestseller. I'll be promoting it throughout the week. My team will be promoting it throughout the week, so you can see it. And as I said, 9,000 copies need to be sold, and if it doesn't happen by Friday, August 11th, I will try again next year with my next book, but we're going to try and make this happen. So I appreciate your time this morning, and I appreciate you guys listening in. Thanks, you guys.
Thank you. Bye.